the House of Her show, the space where we explore the human, honest, and sometimes uncomfortable parts of womanhood and the ways we relate to ourselves and others. I'm your host Megan, and I'm really grateful you're here for episode 2. And if you've watched episode 1, thank you so much for returning. If you haven't already, please come and join me over at Instagram at the House of Her show. And again, that's just the House of Her show, where I share updates, reflections, and where you can share your own takeaways with me too. Reading your messages after episode 1 genuinely meant so much, so thank you so much for that again. Today we're diving into a topic that quietly shapes so many of our relationships. Do we take things too personally? And what does that actually do to our connections, our peace, and the stories we tell ourselves as well? This is something people rarely admit they struggle with, but it influences so many misunderstandings, conflicts, and endings. This episode was inspired by something that happened to me a few months back. Something small on the surface, but emotionally it was very heavy underneath. But before we go there, let's get ourselves grounded. If you're driving or doing something that needs your full attention, please skip this part. Please don't do it. But for everyone else, get comfortable, grab a hot drink because it's absolutely freezing outside, and be present. Also, just a side note, who knew how hard it was to make a podcast? The editing, the filming, learning how to use a mic, the technical glitches. I'm pretty sure my mic wasn't working for the last episode, so hopefully it's working now. Honestly, it's been such a huge learning curve, but here I am, still going. It can only get easier, right? So if you can take a moment, a slow breath in, 1, 2, 3, a slow and soft breath out, loosen your shoulders, let your jaw soften, bring to mind one thing you're grateful for today. Something small and real. It can be a moment, a person, a feeling, or simply the fact that you showed up for yourself by pressing play today. Let that soften your chest just a little. Deep breath in, hold, and exhale gently. My gratitude today, and for this week in general, to be honest, is for being back home, for being back in my hometown and arriving here safely last Sunday. You'll probably notice the change in scenery. I'm actually in my mum and dad's house in their conservatory currently for the filming of this podcast. And I've come back home for Christmas before I fly back out to Spain next week, where I'm actually spending Christmas Day. And I'm so grateful to be returning home as well with a lighter headspace. I've struggled a lot through the heaviest parts of grief, and communication was such a big hardness around that as well. So it's really nice to be returning home feeling much more lighter and open. So let's step into today's topic with that same openness. A few months ago, something happened during my grief that sparked this whole conversation within me. I spoke about a little of it in the last episode, but it connects perfectly to today's theme. When I was early in my grief, Instagram became so overwhelmingly triggering for me. Like seeing life updates, seeing babies being born, seeing weddings being announced, seeing people having new dogs, or families. All the things that I usually love seeing suddenly became so painful. So I actually deleted my personal Instagram quietly without overthinking, just to protect my energy and my headspace at that given moment. But not long after, someone messaged me asking why I had deleted them. They weren't angry, just confused and a little hurt. But in that moment, it struck me because their reaction had nothing to do with what was actually happening for me and why I actually went and deleted my Instagram. It's actually still deleted as well at this moment, but it wasn't about them at all. It was all about my grief, my mental health, my nervous system. But it made me realise how quickly we can interpret someone else's behaviour as a reflection of us, even when it isn't. We do this every day. Someone doesn't reply, we think they're ignoring me. Someone is quiet, and then we can think they're annoyed with me. And then someone doesn't invite us or doesn't invite me to an event, etc., they don't value me. Or someone pulls back and you sometimes overthink it and think, did I do something wrong? Most of the time it's not personal, it's just timing, it's overwhelm, it's mental health, it's burnout, it's stress, or simply someone choosing what they need in that moment. But when we turn neutral situations into emotional wounds, we create stories that don't exist. We assume instead of communicating. And when we do that, it creates distance, it builds resentment, and it adds pain that wasn't originally there. What that moment with Instagram really showed me is this: people can often interpret situations based on their own fears, not your intentions. People don't see your full situation, they see what your behaviour means to them. So in that moment, instead of thinking, Megan's grieving, something must be really wrong for her to have deleted her Instagram as well, they thought, what did I do? And when someone reacts personally to something that isn't personally, it usually says more about their inner world than your actions and what it relates to them. And I'll also say this, I've definitely been on the other side of this too. It's something that I've definitely done before. I've misread people. I've created stories in my head about someone pulling away or being quieter when actually they were just overwhelmed. So this isn't me speaking from any kind of perfection or headspace. This is just something I'm still learning about and something that I've been pondering and reflecting on the last few weeks and starting to think a bit more deeply about it and why we do it. This pattern shows up constantly in relationships. Your friend takes a little longer to reply. You start wondering what you did wrong. And chances are they're just busy, overwhelmed or stretched thin. Their capacity might simply be maxed out. In that moment, instead of feeling hurt, you could check in and ask if they're actually okay. Or it might be that your partner seems distracted. You assume they're annoyed with you, but they might be carrying something completely different that you're unaware of and they're not ready to talk about yet. Or it might be that they've got stress at work or family worries. Asking questions instead of assuming can change the entire direction of a moment. Or it might be that you're not invited to something and it feels personal straight away. I've definitely experienced this as well in the past, but instead of sitting with it and spiraling and overthinking why you, ask the question. Often there's a simple explanation, so going directly to them and asking the question will help with that. And they might have thought simply that you was away, or the invite might have got lost, or plans might have just suddenly changed. Or it might be that someone's tone shifts and you replay conversations in your head, trying to work out if you said something strange. Dating is a really good example of this. You go on a date, it feels like there's chemistry, and then the communication just suddenly shifts after it. Instead of sitting in assumption mode, asking where you stand gives you clarity. So instead of overthinking it, just don't directly go to them and ask them what the deal is. I suppose these moments seem small, but they deeply shape how we feel in relationships. Part of this comes from psychology. Something called the spotlight effect is really, really interesting, and it's basically where we overestimate how much others are thinking about us. Another part of this can come from our past as well. If you've been abandoned before, silence can feel like danger. If you've been criticised, someone's mood can feel like your fault. Or if friends ended suddenly or just drifted apart, being left out can feel like history repeating itself. So when emotional sensitivity, grief, stress, anxiety or insecurity are layered on top of that, it becomes really easy to make everything seem something about you. But most of the time it doesn't. So Don Miguel Ruiz talks about this in the Four Agreements as well. The idea that what people do and don't do reflects their world, not yours. Not taking things personally can genuinely bring more peace into your inner world. And Brené Brown speaks about the story I'm telling myself as well. How we attach meaning long before we have clarity. It's human. But when left unchecked, those stories turn into judgment towards ourselves and others. This pattern shows up everywhere. In relationships, people grow quieter sometimes, not because you did anything wrong, but because life is heavy behind the scenes, and people have different priorities at different stages of their life. In dating, two people can misunderstand each other without either being upset, both waiting for clarity, both feeling unsure. In families, distance can feel like abandonment on one side and like giving space on another. It's that miscommunication. In work, someone's stress can feel like judgment, even when it has nothing to do with you. When we take everything personally, we close the door on understanding. We protect ourselves before anything is actually happening. We react to imagined rejection, and over time, that changes how we show up in relationships. Sometimes the simplest shift is this: instead of assuming, check in. Ask how the other person is. Support them if they're struggling. Let them know you're there when they are ready. This isn't a criticism in any way. It's just a reminder and bringing awareness to the topic as well. Not everything that happens is about us. Someone's silence, distance, tone, or mood often reflects exhaustion, stress, anxiety, grief, workload, conflict, emotional overload, or something private they're carrying that you're unaware of. People's internal worlds are so much bigger than what they show. And when we stop making everything personal, we create more space for compassion, for understanding, for calmer reactions, for healthier relationships, which is what we're all striving for, right? To have that supportive relationship instead, for more grounded nervous systems. We stop reacting to imagined rejection. We stop spiraling from assumptions. We stop carrying weight that isn't ours. When we take things personally, it can quietly create conflict, resentment, insecurity, avoidance, emotional spiraling, and distance. It can also make us very defensive or closed off before anything's actually really happened. Instead of turning this into a checklist, I'll leave you with a few reflections you can carry with you. Pause before reacting and ask yourself whether you're dealing with fact or interpretation. Consider what else could be happening within their life that has nothing to do with you. Communicate openly. A gentle message can clear an entire misunderstanding. Separate someone's behaviour from your worth. And notice your own patterns. Certain actions can trigger certain stories. So what might be triggering you from your past, potentially with the reactions that you have with certain relationships? And give people permission to have their own emotional landscape. These shifts aren't about ignoring how you feel. They're about grounding your feelings in reality instead of fear. Now, think of a moment where you felt hurt or rejected, even something small. And when you think about it, have a think about these questions. What meaning did you attach to it? What else could have been true? What were you afraid of in that given moment? Did you ever actually ask? Did you ask if they was okay and what was going on? Was that reaction about the present, or did it belong to the past? Awareness is one shift. Compassion for yourself and for others is another. Grief personally stripped away any social performance in me. I didn't have the energy to over explain, to reassure, to manage other people's insecurities, or to soften edges for everyone else's comfort. I was in survival mode. I was burnt out, completely outmaxed with capacity, and sometimes healing requires distance, and some people will take that personally. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean they are either. It just means you're human with different needs in that same moment. And when someone truly knows your heart, they won't make your survival about their ego. So, what do you think about taking things too personally? I'd love to know your thoughts on this subject. And if this episode stirred something in you, don't feel like you need to fix it tonight. Just start noticing it. Start bringing awareness to the subject. As it's something that came to me, I found it really interesting just to start mulling it over and start revisiting some situations I've been in the past. And remember, for today's house key, not everything is about you. And that's where peace begins. It's really beautiful to have the awareness around it. When you stop taking things personally, you stop carrying weight that was never meant for you. You make space for understanding, compassion, and healthy relationships with others and with yourself as well. So let people have their seasons. Let people have their silence. Let people have their space when they need it. And know that they will come back to you when they're ready. Thank you so much for being here for episode 2. If something in this episode opened something in you, brought clarity, or helped you in a situation differently, I'd love to hear from you. Please go ahead and share it on my Instagram, or message me, or leave a review. Your support is genuinely, it means so much to me. And if you're not already following, the Instagram is The House of Her Show. And again, that's The House of Her Show. Until next time, take a breath, be gentle with yourself, and remember, you are becoming someone so incredible. There's also something else that I forgot to say that I'm really grateful for this week as well. And as you know, Otis passed away. It's nearly been coming up to 7 months. It's been such a hard journey for me, the grief of it and losing him. And as you know, how much he personally meant to me, so much. And during this time, Mom and Dad mentioned a few months ago they wanted to get potentially another dog. And between me, my mom and dad, and my brother, we all had schnauzers, miniature schnauzers, and we actually have them. We contain them in the family. So my mom and dad's dog, Freddie, is the uncle. My brother's dog was Angus, is the nephew, and then my Otis was Angus's half brother from a different litter, but also Freddie was the uncle to him as well. So obviously on the back of this happening with Otis, my mom and dad said they wanted to have another dog, and they knew Otis's sister Maggie was pregnant or due to be pregnant, and they knew they wanted to keep it in the bloodline of the dogs and the miniature schnauzers that we have. At first, when they said it was really difficult, but also it was beautiful at the same time, because I knew Otis's bloodline was carrying on with his sister, and that it would be kept within our family as well. So this week, last Thursday, Mom and Dad actually went to go and pick her up. She's such a beautiful little soul. So obviously I came home last Sunday, and I've met her, and I'm building this really beautiful relationship with her, and she's building also a really beautiful relationship with Freddie and watching them play. It's just so beautiful, and I'm just so grateful to be in the company of them again, to have that company of that fluffiness. And just, I mean, if you're a dog lover, you'll totally understand this. And I've also been insanely grateful for that this week as well. Just having their love and meeting Otis's niece. And she's called Flo. She's Flo and Freddie. They're just so beautiful. So yeah, just wanted to share that as well as a little final goodbye. Enjoy your week. Take care. Bye.